If someone asked you what you want right now, not what needs to be done, not what would make everybody else comfortable, but what you want, would you know how to answer? Well, a lot of women don't. And it's not because they're empty. It's not because they lack ambition or depth. It's because they've been busy surviving, busy being reliable, busy being needed, busy being the one who handles things. So their wants didn't disappear. They were deprioritized. Come here, sis. Come sit down. Let's talk about it.
Am I really that much to handle? Breaking these niggas down like a camel. You don't really know you.
Hey sis, it's Gwen. Welcome back to the channel. This is a space for real life, honest conversations, and choosing yourself. Even when you don't have language for what that choice looks like yet. Today, we're talking about something quiet, subtle, and deeply common. When it feels like you don't know what you want anymore. Not because something is wrong with you, but because you've been listening outward for so long that your inner voice learned how to whisper. No pressure, no fixing, just noticing. Take a breath with me before we go any further. Not to calm yourself, but to arrive. Disconnection from your wants doesn't happen all at once. There is no dramatic moment, no single decision where you say, today I stop wanting things. It happens through prioritization. Little choices, reasonable choices. You choose urgency over nourishment, responsibility over curiosity, and needs over desire. And each choice makes sense at the time. You tell yourself stuff like, this is just a season. I'll get back to myself later. Right now is not the time. But seasons stack and later keeps moving. And one day, somebody is going to ask you what you want. And your mind goes blank. Not anxious, not panicked, just blank. That's usually when women say, I guess I don't really want much. Or, I'm just focused on what needs to be done. I'm fine. But, sis, fine is not the same as fulfilled. And functional isn't the same thing as being alive. Many women call this maturity. It's survival. And guess what? Survival narrows focus. You see, when you're surviving, your nervous system isn't asking, what excites me? It's asking, what keeps things from falling apart? So sis, your wants didn't die. They were shelved. I mean, think about it. How many times did you override yourself because it was easier? Easier to say yes, easier to keep going, and easier to not rock the boat. That doesn't make you weak, sis. It makes you adaptive. But adaptation has a cost. There's a quiet grief that comes with losing access to your wants. Not grief for something that happened, but grief for something that slowly faded. The version of you that used to daydream. The version that followed energy instead of obligation. The version of you that felt pulled towards things without needing justification. And because there's no obvious loss, you don't feel allowed to mourn it. So, the grief stays unprocessed. It turns into irritability, numbness, chronic tiredness and a sense of something is missing with no clear answer. This isn't a personal failure. It's what happens when self-connection isn't safe or supported. Here's the truth, sis. Your desires did not leave. They went underground. They got quieter, more indirect, more symbolic. Desire does not always show up as excitement. Sometimes it shows up as irritation. You're not mad about the dishes. You're mad about the constant expectation. You're not annoyed by the noise. You're overwhelmed by never being unoccupied. Sometimes desire shows up as exhausted. Not the I need sleep kind, but that bone deep fatigue of living out of alignment. And sometimes desire shows up as relief. Relief when plans get canceled. Relief when you're alone. Lord knows I know. Relief when no one needs anything from you. That relief is information. Not something to shame. Not something to analyze to death. Just something to notice. Ask yourself gently, sis. What am I relieved to be free from lately? That answer isn't selfish. It's honest. Desire whispers. It speaks through the body before words are even formed. Through heaviness, through lightness, through tension, and through ease. You might not know what you want, but your body knows what it does not want anymore. And that's still guidance. You don't need clarity to begin listening. You just need permission. This is where we slow all the way down. Because reconnection does not start with answers. It starts with safety. You don't interrogate yourself. You don't pressure yourself to figure it out. You listen without demand. Try these questions. Hold up. Not to solve anything. Just to observe. What feels heavy lately? What feels calming, even briefly? What drains me faster than it used to? What restores me without explanation? No big decision. No reinvention arc. You don't need to know your purpose. You don't need a 5-year plan. You just need a little honesty in small doses. Listening is not a performance, ladies. It's a practice. Some days you'll hear nothing. Some days you'll hear resistance. And some days you'll feel relief. All of it counts. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're remembering, sis. If this conversation resonated, leave me a comment below saying I'm learning to listen again. Not because you owe anybody progress, but because naming it is part of the reconnection. You're not failing. You're returning. And that takes courage, sis. I'll see you next time, sis. Bye.